In the last term, we don't have data for this term, the post-2020 term, but in the last term of the Delhi Assembly, 2015 to 2020, there were 22 out of 60 plus MLAs of the Aam Aadmi Party who had cases filed against them. All kinds of cases, from rioting to corruption. 19 out of those 22 got acquitted. So is there a point when the Aam Aadmi Party says that many of these cases are just for intimidation?
Right. Zaka, first of all, my name is Sumitra Goenka. So I think you...
Sorry.
So coming to the point here, so good that Atishi is there on the panel today. I am really intrigued by one thing, that we don't have a woman minister on Aam Aadmi Party cabinet for the last 8 years. So that is one thing which really, I feel is a challenge.
What does that issue have to do with the alleged corruption?
I'm coming to that point, yes.
Yeah, let's talk about the issue at hand, please.
We are talking about the liquor policy.
Yeah.
Okay, we are talking about the liquor policy, and I think there are many areas which concern women here. So many of the crimes which you were even speaking about, MLAs here, they concern women as well, because Somnath Bharti has been accused of wife beating. There have been some other MLAs who have also been accused of rioting and such cases of violence. So I would not like to comment on what the courts have said or whether they have been acquitted or not. I don't want to go into the emotional angle of it. But I think when we talk about the liquor policy here, very important is who is the worst sufferer in the case of when there is open liquor available in residential societies. I'm sure all the panelists have spoken that there are 2 liquor shops now in every ward, and there have been strong protests by the resident welfare associations regarding this. And the most person who suffers is the woman and the child, because so many cases of domestic violence and other issues crop up because of liquor policy. So one thing which the Aam Aadmi Party government has done is a big disservice to the woman.
Okay.
Because the liquor policy directly affects the woman. The drinking age has been reduced. So earlier probably people above a certain age were going through it. Now the age has been reduced. So there are many lakhs and lakhs of people who are youngsters who have gone into this. So these things I think are definitely going to hurt.
Okay, I'll ask, since Atishi is also a woman MLA of the Aam Aadmi Party, I'll ask her to respond to this point. I think it's a fair point. But I want to ask Mohit Paul, because he's been waiting patiently. Mohit Paul, I want to expand this debate, because this is not just about the excise policy, it's not just about the information that we got today about this recommendation by the LG for a CBI probe. It is also, recently, we've had this raging controversy about Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's proposed visit to Singapore. Now, the LG has again denied nod for this, citing that it was a World Mayors Conference, and why should the Chief Minister go for a Mayors Conference? My question is something larger. Why shouldn't the Chief Minister go? After all, if he says that the Delhi model is known as the Aam Aadmi Party model for health and for education, and if, regularly Chief Ministers of other states go, the Prime Minister, of course, is very regularly visiting other foreign countries, why shouldn't the Chief Minister of Delhi be allowed to go to Singapore?
Zaka, so someone on your panel actually earlier raised a question about the top most politicians from Aam Aadmi Party admitting to private hospitals. I would like to take it a step further. If the Delhi education model is so much that he had to go to Singapore and portray it over there, why don't the Aam Aadmi Party, which is supposed to be a transparent party, why don't they come up with the statistics as to the number of MLAs, the number of their booth leaders and their kids? How many of them are actually going to the government schools? If the Delhi education model is so good, let them be transparent about it. It's very easy, to do all these propaganda and say that this is so good, we are doing so much, our results have improved. But that doesn't, what will cut the ice is actually when you come up and say that, yes, our leaders, their children are going to government schools. Lead by example with regard to it. Also, since the excise policy was there, and I had one specific thing to say on the excise policy, where I don't think it has gone to the courts. And another issue which can be looked into as far as corruption is concerned is, as per the policy, and I will just like to read out from that 4.1.5 was the tender process for allotment of the zones. Okay. Now, these zones are divided and they have 27 vents. Only one person will be successful for each zone. So therefore, what it translates into is that one zone of 27 vents is being run by one person. He's paying a huge amount of money for this thing. Now, that does not bring down the retail price. They wanted to make it a consumer-friendly policy, and that's what their policy said, that it will be a consumer-friendly policy. We are losing out money because people are going to neighboring states, they're buying alcohol over there. But that's not what they've done over here. They've increased the exchequer by bringing in these about 1,300 odd crores because they put that license fees at such a high premium. But what is the end result? The consumer is actually not succeeding because obviously you've had bends which have opened up everywhere in Delhi. Secondly, the retail prices of alcohol which they're selling are still not at par with their neighboring states. So who are they trying to fool over here? Because, and I'm pretty certain this will become a big topic when the next election comes up.
And this policy sure about that because our understanding is that the prices have come down. But anyway, I'm not going to debate on primetime television the prices of alcohol between Delhi and Gurgaon. But anyway, I want to leave that aside. Let me ask Atishi to please respond to the point that Sumitra Goenka made, because I think it's a fair point. Women are the worst sufferers of alcoholism amongst men. So, how are you accounting for that in your new excise policy? You are in fact encouraging alcoholism.
I would request Sumitra ji to actually see the data related to this excise policy before making this particular statement, because in fact, from the earlier excise policy, the number of liquor vends have actually come down. Before the new excise policy, there were 850 liquor vends that were functional. After the new excise policy, 650 liquor vends are functional all over Delhi. So Sumitra ji, you are an extremely senior person from the industry itself, from the corporate sector, from the private sector. I would urge you to look at the data and not just the propaganda which is being spread by political parties for their own specific gain. Zaka,
okay.
Point that I want to make is the excise policy of the Delhi government and all further decisions have been taken in accordance with the law. It does not matter just because R.P. Singh and Meenakshi Lekhi keep saying the same thing again and again and again. It does not make it true. If the excise policy says that the security deposit will be refunded for anyone who does not get awarded the tender, then that is what the policy says. That policy is approved by the cabinet. That policy is approved by the lieutenant governor. And if that is what the policy says,
let her finish, please.
Let her
finish, please. Let her finish. Sir, वो खत्म करे उसके बाद आपके पास आता हूँ.
By the BJP repeatedly saying again and again, giving falsehoods on television does not make them true.
Okay.
And this is the reason why
R.P. Singh respond, but I also want.
investigation.
I also want you to